Welcome back, everybody. Back on the car. Got to get a couple things done. If you can see there, that is a rotisserie that I ordered from Accessible Systems, and I'm tired of laying on my back, so I broke down and I picked up a kit. So I'm gonna get this thing up in the air and rotate it, and then I'm gonna start really attacking the underside, get that done so I can get the frame back on. But first, before I start tearing what's left of the car loose, all the wiring and gut the interior and everything, there's one or two little things I got to check. So hold on a second. All right, I've repositioned myself inside the vehicle. I'm taking off some of the dash trim. You can see some of that's gone. And I'm going to take the rally gauges out. And then I'm going to take out most of the interior, door panels, seats, rear seat, carpet, some of the side panels and molding. Debating whether I'm going to take the doors actually off the car or not. I don't know. I'm going to do that or not. That's where we're sitting right now. I'll tell you what, the dash trim on this really good shape, and there's a 1-year option on the 87s. And you want to talk about nerve-wracking, yanking on 25-year-old plastic, trying to get the push pins in the back to let go. A little bit of excitement there, more than I wanted it to be. Some of that stuff just did not want to let go, and I'll make good repops for that stuff now. And people are asking some silly money to replace that stuff. So glad that stuff came out and nothing broke. So that's good. Let me reposition the camera here. I want to show you new radio I got. Okay, using the battery outside, I've hot wired the wiring harness so the power inside the vehicle actually works right now. The head unit you see here, I got this from a guy on eBay. CCC87GN sells these, and they're out of later model 90s GM vehicles. The head unit's the same size, but gives you the option here. I upgrade my regular cassette radio that's in here over to CD, and he also installs an auxiliary plug, which is nice. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to start, put it in run here. Okay, there's no antenna hooked up, but I want to see, I burnt a music CD. I just want to see if it's going to play CD that I've burned. Make sure that functions okay. Sounds like it. Very good. Okay, and if I plug the auxiliary in, it switches over to whatever device, just an old MP3 player I have. So let's see if this works okay. Hey. Yep. Awesome. As soon as you pull the plug, it goes back to regular radio. I'm digging that. It's a little pricey, but you know, I'm going to be driving the vehicle, and a cassette player really. It's just a mess, and I didn't want to have to run some type of hidden audio or something somewhere else. I wanted to actually use the stereo in the vehicle. So it's kind of a nice upgrade. I just bit the bullet and paid the price and got it. So I'm happy with that. So check that out. I just wanted to make sure that it played and everything functioned in the vehicle. So now I'm going to yank this back out and then get to start tearing stuff out of this. So hold on. All right, got the radio put away. That seems to be working good. Happy with that. I'm going to start on the inside. Take out the driver's seat. Do the passenger seat, center console, back seat. Start yanking the carpet out, and then I'll get the door panels and whatever else I decide to do with it. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to take the doors completely off or not. I don't know. I don't know how deep I want to get into this. Anyway, oh, almost forgot. Seen one of these in a while. Okay, so now I start to tear things down. Usually when I tear an interior apart, I'm paid for my effort in some manner or another. It's usually in loose change and dried French fries. So we'll see what's lurking under all this once I start tearing everything out. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, just a little note. On the power seat on the driver's side, if you've never taken it off before, this plastic cover is on both of the back bolt area. If I move my hand out of the way, see the two nuts over there that hold the back of the seat bracket down, and this is covering it. It has a pin in the center, and it's like it's a wedge. So basically, when you drive the pin down, it spreads this out, and it grips into a slot in that bottom bracket. So you just need to get something under here, pry the pin up to release the wedge down here, and then the thing just pulls right out. And as you can see, the one over on this side, I have just about up all the way, and you just need to get something under there that can kind of grip onto it, and then pry it the rest of the way up. And then once it pries up, there you go, then that kind of releases the wedge, comes right out. Anyway, just thought you might want to know. Okay, got the back bolts out, and I had to take the seat, electric seat, remember, push it all the way to the back position so I could expose the front nuts, get those out. So got to make sure that this thing has power, or you're going to have a devil of a time one way or the other trying to get the nuts loose. Bracket on the front, Phillips screw. Why? They use pins in the back and screw up front. I don't know. Engineers. This side had no cover on it at all. And this is the last nut. So let me see if I can get this out without too much drama. Dime. I'm already getting paid. Making money, everybody. Making money. All right, over to the center console. All right, coming right along. Thought I'd go ahead and take these this seatbelt stuff off too. Those are Torx 50 that are inside here. This has a little cap that goes over here. It's kind of clamshelled in the back, so you just kind of feed it in, and then it rotates on. I just grab a screwdriver, pop that out. Same thing over here. Remove the sill plate, and then peel the carpet back. Down in here, and you can see that there's the Torx 50 bolt down in there. That goes through the body. You want to do yourself a big favor. Before you try to take these out, check underneath the vehicle and look at the threads, because there's going to be exposed thread on the underside of the body where this reinforcement plate is. What I did before I tried to take one of these loose, I grabbed the wire wheel and went underneath, and I cleaned the threads up as best as I could, like right down to bare metal. Got a lot of that surface rust off and everything. That's going to make trying to thread these out a lot easier. I'm not sure if I would use an impact on it or not. You could. I like taking them out with the regular socket, just because, and the ratchet. Just, you know, with these big things, if it seizes up or something, I would rather, you know, put it back on and then cut the threads off from the underside than have it wedge in there and snap the head off around the head where you can't use it, and then now you're stuck trying to get this thing out. So that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, onward and upward. Center console is going to be coming out soon. You know, it really is amazing just how little there is holding the center console in. Shifter T-handle, there's a horseshoe clip on the side. Pull that out, pull the T-handle off. Come back in here. There's 2 7mm bolts in there, 2 7mm in the front, and that's it. The whole thing comes out. All you have to do is pry up that plate to be able to get to the 2 7mm. Take the shifter handle off. 4 little 7mm nuts, and the whole thing comes out. So you'd think they'd put a little bit more effort into keeping that thing in the center. No wonder these things are so wobbly. All right, let me get this out. I'll be back. All right, the console's out. Just wanted to say this real quick. You have the power connector that's right in the front underneath. Just make sure that gets disconnected before you start yanking on this thing to get it out. There's also down in the shifter bracket, there's this ground wire. It's not even bolted. It's just clipped on to the ground onto the metal bracket to create the ground circuit, and that is for your indicator light. And also, if you follow it back, there is a package tray in the back of the console, and that's a light for inside that tray when you open the lid up. So anyway, it's all out. You want to make your life a little easier too. When you take this stuff apart, especially if it's going to sit for a while, throw everything in one baggie and then throw a paper inside the bag and write down what it's for. That way it can't get like smeared or wiped off on the outside. As long as the bolts or whatever's in there isn't oily and just soaks the paper, it's going to stay like that forever. Anyway, makes it real easy putting it back together when everything's in one place and you know where it's at. Alright, okay, so I didn't bother to show you taking out the passenger side seat. It's pretty much the same. 13mm nuts. A little bit more interesting because the passenger side's a slider and a couple of the nuts are underneath the bracket, so it makes it a little difficult to get in there with anything big like a air ratchet or something. And I also popped the rear seat out, which is really easy if you've never done one of these before. These two hooks right here, there are slots in the floor of the car, and these just basically you push back and it goes in the slot that goes forward and locks in place. So to take it out, you just hit the seat. Sometimes you're lucky, you can just smack the seat and pop it up, or you just use both hands and push on the seat right here and it flexes this back far enough to get it out of that notch. Comes right out. Very easy, very easy. Okay, let me show you this, because this is what I found. This is the padding, the insulation padding that's underneath the rear seat. And judging from the lollipops and little bottles and whatever else, I'm thinking probably 5 to 6 year old spent a decent amount of time in the back of this vehicle riding. And it seemed like the passenger side and rear had this side and had the most amount of junk. Pick up some more sticky change. This is kind of the ugly side of getting the car apart. Just you never know what you're going to find when you pull carpet up and everything. Anyway, speaking of carpet, that's what's next. I got it kind of everything loosened up. The sill plates are out, rear seat's out. The top of the rear seat still needs to come out. I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm just going to go ahead and yank that filthy carpet out of there now and see what my floor pans underneath look like. Alright, hold on. Well, that was a bit nasty. But it's out. The jute padding stuck to the floor a bit and didn't want to come out with it. So it separated from that pretty quick, and just I kind of had to roll it around, peel it, but it came out. You can see the rust marks, the 4 spots where the bottom legs of the seats were bolted in. It's not in good shape, but it's not. I've seen a lot worse. I'm not going to reuse it, that's for sure. It's way beyond its service life. But here's the nice thing that I found. See, all the jute padding just kind of stayed stuck to the floor. I've peeled quite a bit of it up. But man, peel the padding away. That, I don't know if you can catch that. That's like factory fresh. I mean, that's probably one of the best floors for a vehicle this old, especially considering the rust in the rear quarters that I found in the bottom attachment bolts. Looks like it's brand new. I'm really shocked at how well it looks underneath all this carpeting. So, whatever reason, the door sills must have did their job, and the windows must have sealed, because man, it doesn't look like a drop of water ever made it into this vehicle. This is dead sexy. Alright, I'm going to take you one last view. I got some seat belts to take out in the back, 2 bolts on either side, pop the seat out, the top part of the seat, and then peel the rest of this jute padding away, and then I'll show you the gutted interior when I'm done. Still got door panels and everything on. That needs to go too, but as for right now, I'm very happy with where I'm at, and man, I love them floors. They're just really, really good. All right, I'm going to quit running my mouth. Okay, the top part of the back seat is out. You can see it has these brackets that come down, bolts into the same spot where the seatbelt retractor bolts to. And on top, it's just 3 of these hooks that fit into slots inside the car, and it just slots to the top, 2 bolts to the bottom, and that's what holds the top of the back seat on. This was tucked in behind the seat, which is kind of cool. It's like almost like a build sheet for the rear seat they put in, and it basically gives you know, the model number, body number, seat type, trim, color, and then it has a line number, and then also has the full VIN, which is the same VIN for the vehicle, which is nice. So that's kind of neat finding that back there. Let's take a look in the car again. I'm telling you, I'm really impressed by how clean and virtually rust-free this thing is. There's like a little spot of rust right over by the door, and there's some holes in the floor. I put them there myself because I cut off the heat shield for the catalytic converter. Since I'm not going to be having a catalytic converter anymore, I went ahead and took that off, and it popped some holes in the sheet metal that I'll have to weld up. But now the jute pad, the jute backing that goes behind the top of the seat, the padding between that and the trunk area, that's all gone. I'm just telling you, man, it's just so clean. I don't know. I mean, this isn't even shop vacuuming or anything. This is just how it looks. You can see all the seam sealer. It's perfect. Just really looks good. Anyway, that's enough for this video. I want to bore you guys with taking the interior out on a car. But when I come back, I'm going to figure out what to do with the doors. I'm kind of leaning toward maybe just removing the doors altogether. But I don't know. We'll see. But at least the door trim and stuff will come off. I don't know about the back trim. I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to do. And the headliner is just beautiful in this thing. I'm debating on how much more of the interior I'm going to remove. I basically took the seats out and the center console and everything to cut down some of the weight and to keep stuff from flying around when I flip this thing over with the rotisserie. But I'm not trying to go crazy with it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.